Calls meeting to order. This meeting is subject to Indiana Code 36-1-3. Everybody could rise for the invocation of pledge allegiance.
Okay, yes, dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this evening to come and meet, go over the county's budget and the things that we're discussing with different money, and just that we make wise decisions, be with everybody in this room, and just helps to make us home, get us home safe here this evening, and we pray. Amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, nobody signed up, so we're going to skip item 1. Item 2, election of council officers. I'll entertain a motion for president.
I'd like to make a motion that we retain Kendall Hinckley as the president.
Second.
Thank you, guys. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, for vice president, I'd like to nominate Terry Miller to retain as vice president for this year.
Second. You guys.
Second.
Got a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All
You
right.
guys.
All right, next item is approval of the minutes for December 8th, since we missed the 26th. Due to weather.
Make a motion to approve those minutes.
John,
Second.
second by Terry. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Okay, Mayor Strick. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to address council this evening and provide an update for you. As many of you are aware, we don't take this matter lightly, but we are sensitive to the needs of our community. And in recent years, we recognize that some of the cost of living related to professional certifications, housing, childcare, these are major issues on all of our families. And so as we've been working between the city, county, and other units of government to try and address those concerns, time to time getting capital has come up as a challenge in these projects, publicly and privately. One of the things that I think is an option to be considered is a countywide food and beverage tax. And so I'm here to provide an update this evening on what that process looks like and what's involved and where we're at in that. So again, I want to note, we don't take this lightly, and we'll have plenty of time for public deliberation around it, but the first step, the state of Indiana has this set up very strangely, since this is a local matter, but it requires approval from the State House for us to have that argument amongst ourselves locally. And so at this point, we are down that road. There is an amendment with language for either the County of Huntington or the City of Huntington, but not both, to give consideration to this matter. So we're not going to end up with a double tax on it. It's something we want to work through together, and one or the other, or none of us do. But as the State House goes through, what they will do is then they will be able to authorize that, assuming there's no major changes this week. And then that will come back to a time for us to prepare all the relevant information and then come back to a public process later this summer. So my thought is for the county to take the first conversation on this, and so if that were the case, the county council will be the adopting entity for that. So we'll bring it back for you on that. Currently, right now, there are 41 units of government statewide that have a food and beverage tax. Some of those are overlapping city and county. Many of them are one or the other. This year, Huntington and McRow have language at the State House for consideration of this. And the broad boilerplate language the State House uses is either economic development or parks and quality of life, and they want it to be for capital. So at the local level here, if we move forward with this, again, what's been discussed and what we identify as needs to try and lower the cost of living in Huntington County are around the Learning Center and Professional Trades, Construction Trades program at the high school, trying to help with the revenue cuts that are coming to the school corporation. Childcare, we have 2 different facilities. One was a church looking at an upgrade that would have opened up 40 seats of childcare. That was $75,000 they couldn't come up with, so that project fell apart. Another was a church looking at a $370,000 project that would have opened up another 45 seats, and that also fell apart for the lack of funding up front. That's the sort of thing that this could step right in with, and of course, we all know, any of us who have friends or family with children, how much that costs. The average cost, if you're not aware, for a child care is anywhere from $12,500 to $20,000 a kid here in Madison County, depends on the quality and level of care. I think that the opioid settlement structure is something that we've done successfully as a community, where if you recall, those settlement dollars from the city and the county and the town of Warren were all pulled together in the community foundation, and there's a local committee that oversees and awards those funds. Keeps everything very transparent, keeps it accountable to local government, but also allows those that are closest to the problem to bring recommendations. So, and then the last piece of relevant information for you is current estimates are that this would raise anywhere from $500,000 to $850,000 a year through this 1% tax. That would be in addition to the state sales tax, so our 7% would become 8% on anything in a restaurant that's subject to that sales tax. And then the final piece, of course, is just to make sure that in all of these things, it requires scrutiny from all of us to make sure that if we adopt this and move forward with it, that the money actually gets to where it's supposed to go, and only that. And so we want to make sure that there's a transparent and accountable process throughout all of this. The final piece, and this one is, I think, the most important, one of the most important things from where I sit. Currently, based on sporting events, high school, university, various activities throughout the community, with people passing through on 24 the state route, estimates are about 40% of those revenues I just quoted to you would come from folks who don't live in Huntington County. So anytime that we can get those passing through to help enhance our quality of life here in Huntington County, I'm all for that. So open it up to any questions you might have this evening for the update.
Yeah, we're not putting the stadiums or
Yeah, we are not building an amphitheater or you would be amazed at how many folks at the State House were encouraged me to give consideration to that instead of things that actually lower the cost of living.
No, I appreciate you doing most of the heavy lifting. He's gone down to the State House a number of times to help at least get the first hurdle over. It's definitely a tool for our toolbox as we move forward if we choose to use it. Again, I think public debate needs to be done locally on where that needs to be spent. I like the idea of the opioid type committee set up. I think that's been very successful on the opioid side of things.
Obviously, we know that property taxes are on their way down over the next few years, and this is kind of a replacement for some of those seed funds and economic development funds that we'll be able to use. And I don't know if it's just my opinion, but sales taxes is one of the fairer ways to get revenue and kind of spread it out evenly and stuff. So that's why I would favor this.
Can you just clarify, a food and beverage tax would just be restaurants and bars, correct? Or is that something that's still?
Correct. It would be restaurants and bars, anything that is processing and selling that food, so it would not apply to groceries, for example.
Food trucks, things like that.
Yeah, but and any, pretty much, and that's why the rule of thumb is if it's subject to the state sales tax, it would be subject to this.
I just have a little thought for this. Not saying I like taxes, but at least this is a tax, I guess what I'm gonna look at, it's not gonna really harm folks that are really in need. More people that are choosing to go to a restaurant or whatever. So it's, I guess, I look at it as a tax, it's not quite that, it's not that different.
And you have had some support from some restaurateurs, correct?
Yes. Yeah, and you know, for their sake, I don't want to overstate it, but while some have said, yes, we should talk about this and look at it, and they would even support it, what I asked them for in their letters of support to the state was merely to get to the point where we get authorized to have the conversation locally amongst ourselves, so.
Yeah, well, obviously, we'll bring them into those discussions as well
Exactly.
when that time comes.
And I can share from other communities, you know, oftentimes, there's been concern in the restaurant industry. In fact, statewide, the Restaurant Association used to oppose these tooth and nail, because they were afraid that it would undercut those businesses, and that is not not proven to be the case. So what does make it unique in our case, as I alluded to, is that the plan that we're putting forward, and it took a lot of persuading down at the State House, is putting it into things that I think will directly lower the cost of living for Huntington County residents. That's who we're accountable to.
And again, kind of geared towards folks that need it more than everybody else does. You know, care for your children or whatever, but get away with it, right?
Upskilling our workforce.
That all that work.
Helping people secure rising wages, lower the cost of housing, lower the cost of childcare.
It's my understanding this would be collected just like the sales tax is and forwarded to the state to be
Yes.
sent
I
out to
think
us.
if I remember right, I think a restaurant has to pay that on a quarterly basis and then it's in arrears.
John, might remember some of that.
Did I get that right?
Yeah. Well, I just know at my place, it would have been about $7,500 to $10,000 a year extra.
Yeah.
So,
Well, thank you, appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor.
Take care, thank you.
Thanks for all your work.
Item 5, Ed. Okay.
Actually, for Brian Anderson. So just wanted to go through, we provide our annual report for Purdue Extension. And there's two things here that's just the past year, I'm going to share some of the highlights. And JP Petrowski has a brochure here talking about the 4-H Youth Development Program. It's important to remember we do have 4 program areas: community development, ag and natural resources, and health and human sciences. And so just to talk about JP's brochure first, he is working with this Classroom Clover program, Class Clover, which is bringing in a lot of the 3rd grade students, basically every school in the county he's working with, and to get them signed up to participate. They started out with just a few schools over the last couple of years. Now they're moving to do every school to get kids to participate, and they're doing a project like a poster project to get them started. We're having success to get more kids involved in 4-H. He's also doing stepping up and doing more of the chick embryology projects, that type of thing. Then I also wanted to share, he's, I guess, going forward, we do anticipate growth in the 4-H program with this, getting more of the 3rd graders, and hopefully they will continue in the program as they move forward with 4-H throughout their careers and as students. And then we also have a upcoming next month, we have a 3rd grade Ag Day, which involves all the 3rd graders in the county. We partner with Huntington University Ag, and we've got livestock that they help us bring. We have volunteers from the community that help teach that. So that's another project we're working on right now. But some of the highlights there from last year, we do have a community leadership program. I shared some of the results there from last year. This year, 14 in class last year. This year we have 14 as well. And so that will go through once a month through May. We're partnering with the Community Foundation with that program. We have a steering committee locally that we work with. Also have an ag on my side with the agri-natural resources that I work most closely with the farmers. We did have a workshop last week, 55 in attendance for private applicators and commercial pesticide applicators, help them keep their licenses in place. So we are continuing to work with those type programs and farm management. We have grain marketing classes going on right now. Just some examples of things we're working on. And we do have, of course, Health and Human Sciences programs that we're continuing with assistance from some of the neighboring counties right now with and getting with educators that are helping teach those programs. So both front and back, we've got some examples of things that we've done in the last year. So if there's any questions anybody has, just wanted to make sure we cover everything that you might have questions about, so.
You see most of your participants, are they from farms or from the city or a combination of both?
That's a combination. One thing I want to mention too, we do have a master gardener basic training that we've been doing every year, and that's continually, we see more that's kind of a mix of city and county people that participate in programs like that. They also have some forums that involve a lot of people, members of the city as well. So a lot of things that I'm involved with, like say for the agriculture, you're focusing a lot on the full-time and part-time farmers, but yeah, the Master Gardener program is one that, and we continue to get more volunteers in that program because we're having a class every year partnering with Wabash and Miami County. That's worked out really well. And so we also have online, we do a lot of online classes now too. With one of the things, succession planning, I'm on the state team for that. And help, because we've got transitioning farms to mixed generation, so we're working with that program. So Master Gardeners also has done a lot of online, so we are seeing a lot of programs that maybe have transitioned to more online, but we still do a lot of in-person things as well. I think sometimes a combination, or you do things locally, but you have an online connection. We're doing this grain marketing class, but any questions, any other questions?
How do you see your enrollment, just out of curiosity, how do you see your enrollment in Hinesville County compared to the rest of the state? I see you've got small increases, but.
Yeah, we are actually one of the higher level as far as enrollment for kids in 4-H. Even like some of our neighboring counties that have a larger population, we are, one of the, I wish I could tell you what, JP could tell me right off the bat what the number is, because, but we are one of the higher counties as far as numbers in 4-H. So compared to, for our population size, we're doing really well, so. And this Classic Clover program, it works, the schools have been very good to work with. Jay Peters in particular has helped out a lot with that program, so they did a project like weather or something. That's one of the popular ones they've done. Like kids will bring them. We've seen a lot. They actually bring them to the fair, and we've had some signs up and telling a little bit more about that at the fair to make sure the public is aware of what's going on and that the kids are getting the education. So, yeah. No, good questions. Thank you. If something else comes to mind, let me know.
When's the opening for the leadership class next year? June, July?
So, yeah, we will end it in May, and then we'll start again, just as soon as we're over, we'll start recruiting for the next class, and that would start then in September, so. So we give kind of a couple months break there, and then we start with the next class. So that's steering committee we've established has worked really well to help support that program. It's Purdue Extension curriculum, but we get lots of local input. We travel to, like this past month, we were in Warren. We're going to be in Andrews next month, and then back to Huntington. And so we travel around the county to different locations, and Tiffany Drummond helped us out in December, or is it just January, I think it was. Yeah, she met with the group at the Learning Center there, so.
Yeah, I missed the window with the one I wanted to put in, so I want to make sure I don't miss that again.
Yeah, okay. No, it's, yeah, if you know people, we do focus on, we get a good mix of nonprofit and business people that are participating in that, so that's for sure, so. Mhm.
Nothing else? Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you.
Next item is the, salary agreement. Does that match what we have in the budget, or are we gonna have to?
It's in the budget.
It is covered in the budget?
Yep.
Okay. Salary increase over last year.
Well, actually, this is the same as last year because.
Oh, it is the same, oh, that's
full-time
right.
prosecutor did not receive.
It went up,
a raise.
but yes, we had to increase it last year because we
Right.
didn't have the right number in there. Okay. So it is like this year for the prosecutor.
They raised the percentage last year, so.
Entertained a motion on that? Motion.
Second.
Second by Terry. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Okay, so we got a list of items, Sheriff Newton was out of town. We're gonna have the 10. So we have Jill pinch hitting,
Okay,
so.
so, this, let's see, item 7 was a change that, was made during budget time with council and resulted in being a little bit shy in the budget. I think that's because, the commissary clerk is, half of their wages is paid out of this fund. And, the increase was calculated, but they didn't, calculate taxes on the increased portion, so it's gonna be a little bit short, so we just need a little bit more to cover for the full year.
$20.
Yeah.
For this thing, we make that.
Every penny counts.
Motion to approve this $20.
Second by Keith. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, item 8, this is an additional appropriation, also a result of the shifting that we did during budget time last year before the budget was adopted. There was a decision made to pay wages for positions of jail inmate advocate, maintenance worker, culinarian, and also some utility expenses and service contract expenses from the lit fund, because we cannot adopt a budget that's higher than what was advertised. We didn't know that was gonna happen, so we have to wait until after January 1st to do the appropriation. It's $403,647.
That was a direct reduction out of general.
Yes.
That was just moving it from that first general fund, so. Entertain a motion on that.
Motion approved.
Terry? Second.
Yeah, second.
Shane? Any other questions, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Item 9, they are requesting an additional appropriation of $15,249 for the K-9 fund, number 4012. This is a fund, I believe in the past they've even done a fundraiser, so money comes into this fund based off of donations. Then they forgot to put it in the budget that was adopted last year, so they just need an appropriation. And they broke down $4,159 for supplies, $3,000 for education and training, $6,090 for service contracts, and $2,000 for equipment.
This is above and beyond last year for this year's budget.
No, there was zero.
They did not adopt
They
it.
forgot to put money in it, and again, you can't. And again, it's all donations and community.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
Money's already in there.
Money's there.
They have the money,
Okay, they got the money, you can just.
they need permission to spend it.
Jamie? Second by Jamie. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, item 10 is the raise grant that they were awarded in December from the Lace Group. And it totaled $3,000, and they are just asking permission to spend that money. They would like a line item for subscription and dues of $500 and equipment of $2,500 for a total of $30,000.
That's Lakes, right?
Yes.
Yeah, motion.
Second by Terry. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
This is just the same thing as.
Why is this 31? I don't understand why.
So what happened is that they did not spend everything that they were awarded in the previous year.
That was not-
And, the appropriation expires at the end of the year,
Oh,
so
so we're reappropriating.
we are just basically appropriating to spend that remaining $120.38.
Oh, I see, it's a different
It's
place.
still left over, wasn't it?
Yep, just a little bit. I like them to get rid of it,
Sure.
because as time passes, I don't ever wanna lose, the knowledge of how it was gifted to them, because they have to spend it.
Yep.
Accordingly.
Motion approved.
Second.
Second by John. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, item 12 is the Heartland REMC grant. This is a new grant that they received. They applied for it, the commissioners gave them permission to apply for it. They were awarded $1,000 and they would like a budget line for supplies.
And that was approved by the grant application and spend it on supplies, set supplies, correct?
Yes. Usually when they're writing for the grant, they're specifying how they want to use it, and then if it's awarded, it's understood that that's the purpose.
That's what it's used for. Okay, so I got a motion from Jamie,
Second.
second by Terry, by Bruce. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay,
Last one.
item 13 is also a new grant, the Lincoln County Substance Abuse Response Grant. Again, they did get permission from the commissioners to apply for this particular grant. They wrote an application for it and was awarded $10,000. They'd like to have $8,000 go in a budget line for supplies and $2,000 for equipment.
Motion approved.
Second.
Keith, John, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. I see Rob.
Yep.
Rob, you're up.
Good evening. Item 14, we're requesting additional appropriation of $178,640 for cumulative courthouse funds for the bond payment. Early on in the budget process, Cable and I sat down and talked about ways we could help the budget. Initially, we had split this, council paid this amount, and then we paid 180 or 190, is that right, Jill?
A little, yeah, you paid a little more than half, so you paid a
I
little.
think you pay $113 twice a year.
Okay, so 226, and then you guys paid
You
the
paid the balance.
rest on the bond payment. So just to kind of help out the budget, we agreed to cover this. So we need to make that appropriation so we can make our agreement wise.
And again, this was housekeeping from budget time where they couldn't increase their budget.
We had already
We already
advertised.
advertised the lower number, so, right, so.
Motion approved.
Terry? Second by Jamie. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Yep.
Decided not to. Sorry, good.
Thanks, Robert.
You're not Bob. Well, thank goodness.
Hey, Bob.
Good evening, Thomas Ford, the County Deputy Director. EMA is requesting additional appropriation of $4,000. This is for our hazardous material repairage grant. We do this every year. This year, it's going to go into our education and training, just like a couple years back, 83-87. This is just for our tabletop exercise that we're going to do in March, this March. So, and at some point, we'll get that $4,000 back and go back to the county general fund. So it's just.
Is that just you guys, or do you guys include volunteer firefighters on that as well?
So, great question. Tabletop, we invite everybody, so dispatch, every fire department in the county, law enforcement, nonprofit organizations, school districts.
Jackie, second by John. Any questions or discussion? All in favor?
Thank you, take care.
Thanks, Thomas.
Right.
Good evening, everyone. Brian Tribble, Administrator for the Health Department. First of all, we're just asking for an appropriation from our 1161, which is the Health First Indiana funds. This was a carryover fund of amounts that we had not used either from 24 or into 25. First one is the 11520, which is for the public health nurse salary. The other one is, the next one is a 1200, which is Social Security, and then 12200, which is the PERF, and then 34510, which is unemployment. So that would take care of the nurse for this year. And then the other one, also in 1161 for carryover funds to be used, would be the 31100, which is a contract professional, and that is to redo our wind records. That is like 3 times it's already been updated, that we're still in the older part, it's very lacking. It's all we use for all of our registered, our vital registers, records, birth certificates, death certificates, paternity affidavits. There's some stuff in there for accounting also that is used in that wind records software.
Fortunately, this Healthy First money is down this year.
Oh, yeah.
Any discussion on that for next year at all?
Oh, yeah, we're definitely pushing that, the ICCA is pushing, the whole association is pushing that to be reinstated, and it's a budget year, so we're hoping.
This is, yeah, because this is gonna kind of deplete this fund, right?
Not quite, because we also we were allowed in both 24 and 25, well, this year we didn't do it, to put 10% in capital, which gave us about 102,000 that we did not use. We were thinking about doing some other things, we did not use that. Plus, we did not use everything in 24 or 25 actually, so depending on what we use for this year, we should have enough probably to cover next year also.
Okay, good, because this takes away from your health levy if you don't have this fund, right?
Correct.
Yeah, that's gonna
So it's
put
unfortunately,
pressure on the property tax.
I just remind everybody here that Huntington, that Indiana was like 47th in the nation in health. And so the legislators had given money toward the Healthy Indiana First money to help improve that number. So we were hoping that was going to continue, and they did not continue it at that level.
And for the 1161, I do have the email from the state that that were approved to go ahead and do this. So there's something in writing there that we're allowed to do that.
Okay, awesome. Any other questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
John?
Second.
Second by Terry. Any other discussion? All in favor? Opposed?
The next one is, we have a fund, the 9118, which is our health and bioterrorism fund. It's been around forever today. I think that was the words of Jill anyway. It's been around for quite a while, probably somewhere around 2016 or 2017 possibly. It might have been 2018, long before I got here. This is a fund though that we've been able to have other different funds for preparedness and bioterrorism. And we were completely out of that for the past 2 years, but we've had other money from Health First Indiana, things of that nature, we were able to go ahead and do it. This year, almost everything that we had, all of our masks, all of our, all of our supplies and everything, the shelf life is gone. So we have to reprogram that and re-put that in on our trailer and everything that we have for disaster or natural emergencies. And so this is one of those funds where we can pull that out of, because it is for emergency preparedness, so we're able to spend out of that. So we're already replacing masks, gowns, gloves, all of that. That's pretty well all been replaced so far. We just need to pay for it. That's all.
Motion approved.
Second. Terry, second by John. I'm just surprised that kind of stuff expires.
Well, the masks and everything do, because most of them are N95 masks, so they have a 5-year shelf life. Gowns, you could still probably use them and everything, so, but if the state comes through and they look through our trailer, they're gonna nail us for it.
Yeah.
So,
All those in favor?
thank you.
Thank you.
So I first have item 18, which is requesting an appropriation of $2,732.62. This is for the 2026 LACE grant, which is our local anti-drug and alcohol coalition. So that is funded by a mandatory drug and alcohol fee that is assessed by courts and collected. So that money then filters into our LCC, which is our LACE. So they give out a number of grants every year, so we're just asking to appropriate that money, we use it for drug testing.
To clarify, you said 62 cents, it's 2,732.66, just to make sure. about that.
My missing properly glasses,
Just to clarify and make sure we don't have any.
yes, 66 cents.
So,
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Jamie first, Keith second, sorry now. All those in favor?
Item 18, nope, 19, is we're asking for an appropriation of $22.26. This is from our 2023 LACE grant, so it's similar to what Jill explained for the sheriff's department, but we had this money left over that we need to spend, and we just missed it.
Motion approved. Second.
Jerry, second by John. All those in favor? Opposed?
And then item 20, we're asking for an appropriation of $13,643 in our supplemental adult probation fund, $2,100. And what this is, was at budget time last year, we had a discussion about moving the remainder of one of our probation salaries that was mostly paid out of $2,100. We decided to move the balance from county general over to $2,100. So we need to appropriate that along with the additional social security and PERF that go along with that.
Entertain a motion on that.
Motion.
Jamie,
Second.
second by John. All those in favor? Opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's right.
Attention. Oh, attention, okay.
Hi, and I'm with the report, I have 5 appropriations. First one is item 21, also the LACE grant for 2026. Drug court was awarded $4,000. It's Fund 9692, and that goes towards incentives in the program.
Motion. Jamie.
Second.
Terry. Any other discussion, all in favor? Opposed?
Item 22 is our 2026 drug court grant from the Indiana Department of Corrections for $100,000. That is our largest grant that supports a lot of the drug court program. So I am asking for Fund 9604, location 9614, for that to be appropriated.
Make a motion.
It's a good program. Second.
Thank you.
Second by Jamie. All those in favor? Opposed? There's still strong support then from the state on that
Today,
so far?
Today.
Right now.
Okay.
next is item 23. This is our drug court user fees, Fund 2515. And I'm asking for an appropriation amount of $6,900. And this one I typically don't spend, I just do an appropriation at the beginning of the year if there's any costs that a grant won't cover, that way I don't have to keep coming back, so it,
Preemptive,
say it again, please?
preemptive.
Yes, yes.
Motion.
Terry?
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, next is item 24. We were fortunate enough to receive the Substance Abuse Response Grant, and that is Fund 9132 in the amount of $53,000. That is the opioid grant that we applied for and were awarded.
That's like the motion.
Second by Keith. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Last one, item 25. This is for Fund 9712 in the amount of $10,050. And this is the 2026 Problem Solving Court Grant from the Indiana Office of Court Services that we were fortunate enough to receive as well.
Good job.
Second.
Yeah, that was a mistake.
He just said good job.
I think that was Doug's motion.
Shane, all right, second by Terry. Motion by Shane, second by Terry. All those in favor? Opposed?
Any questions?
No.
Okay, thank you everyone.
Thank you. All right, this is the one that was looking for, your help on.
Okay, so, for the past several years, the courts have been awarded what's called an interpreter grant, and so they did get the award for 25-26, and it's for $3,500. It's basically just what it says it is. It's to pay for interpreters. They have a large volume of English speaking people come through that they have to hire interpreters.
That's just a supplement.
That's a
It's a very small portion of what they said.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, we've got general fund line.
Every bit helps.
Yeah, we're glad to get an extra 3,500.
Yeah, we'll take the help. for
It's
sure.
a reimbursement grant, so we spend the money and then they reimburse us. So
Okay.
it's-
I'll make
Jamie? Second by Shane. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any corrections?
Good evening. In item 27, Community Corrections is requesting a appropriation in the amount of $172,905. This is the 2026 pretrial services grant. This pays for a portion of our pretrial coordinator and pretrial assistant coordinator for the year 2026.
So this is approved and awarded, right?
That is correct.
Motion.
Motion by Shane,
Second.
second by Terry. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Item 28 is a request of appropriation for our IDOC grant from the Department of Corrections in the amount of $321,231 for the year 2026.
And this was approved, right, and awarded, correct?
That is correct.
So this appropriation
It's already done, right? Just need to be able to spend it, no?
That's right.
Stay your bill. Motion.
Motion by Shane,
Second.
second by Jamie. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Item 29 is a request of appropriation in the amount of $214,320. This is the Department of Corrections grant on the work release side of the world.
And this one was bigger, right? Is this the one that got kind of cut?
Yes, between the item 28 and 29, both of them got cut a little bit, but item 29 got cut more in my opinion.
Okay. But you did get awarded this,
That is correct.
so there's no risk to this, okay. Motion by Jamie. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Terry. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Alright. And this is the one that I was most concerned about when, Jill's project income, correct?
That is correct, our user fees.
Yeah, so you've got, what, 533,000 in there right now?
That is as of today, yes.
And how many inmates do you have in there?
13.
Yes, I don't know what you call
Yeah.
them. 13?
Yes.
Okay.
That's participants.
It's actually, bring the
Yes, you have.
right, like, pull up that report that Leslie's been emailing the report out, I don't know how many people get that.
Okay. Yes, 13 in work release today. I believe they have one coming in here in a couple of weeks. And then we have 54 in the works, either on program with us or in the transfer process going out to other counties for home detention,
Oh,
which is the GPS monitor.
okay. And you get funding for that too?
Yes, I would say that's where we mostly get,
Most of your
the majority of our user fees comes from the home detention.
detention. Okay. And that funds this?
That is correct,
Okay.
yes.
So at $1,035,000, that could be at risk, correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Leslie just puts that out in the budgeting, so she doesn't have to come back. I've never seen it even come
And
close.
you watch, right, Jill?
Yeah, we watch, we
Make sure.
communicate frequently,
Right.
and I think some of these salary positions right now are being funded with other grants that ended up coming in, correct? Or,
The first three, the part-time, the living unit coordinator, and the field officer. The field officer is a portion of the Department of Correction grant, and then what's the 5,000 is left over from what is not able to fund that position out of that grant.
Okay.
And then the part-time and living unit coordinator and the transition team manager are all work release. Right now, they're all getting paid out of project income. Hopefully, the projection is by the end of September, we have about 83,000 to help spend towards those salaries. That's coming from the Catalyst side, but it's stopped funding on our side of the world in October of 25, but drug court is still dipping into that grant, and then once they're done, the plan is to take whatever's left to help pay for those salaries.
some of their grants start in October and then in September, some of them are for the year. It's very confusing because a lot of times they'll apply. I think we just got verification of the SIM grant last week,
That is correct.
and so, you know.
And it was supposed to start, we could have started funding that in that grant in October of 25, but we were never, Leslie was never given a signed contract or a signed award from the state, so she never wanted to start using their money if not knowing how much we would get.
So we pretty much coordinate all that back and forth with what's going on.
That's right.
Yeah, I just wanted to exercise some caution with this one because it isn't a fully funded.
Yeah, and down, and also down below where it says service contracts, in years past, we would have money left over in the Department of Correction grant to pay for either the alcohol monitoring, the GPS bracelet, or any drug screens that needed to be sent off for confirmation. Used to be paid out of the grant, and then the funding wise just depleted it more and more, and currently they are not able to be paid out of the grant, so.
Okay.
This is also something that we're advocating strongly for County Council Association to, continue to make us whole in the community corrections and the county budget and so forth. So there's a lot of weight behind that from the money that was stripped away from there a little bit. So basically 25% roughly.
Yes. But yes, this project income is watched very closely.
Okay. Any other questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion approved.
Carried. Second. Nobody seconded that.
I'll say.
Thanks, Jim. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. And then last one.
Item
We're getting one.
Item 31 is just a request for appropriation in the amount of $45,547.47 in the community coordinator grant.
And this one's fully funded?
That is correct.
Okay.
Motion approved.
Carried. Second by Jim. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
last one, item 32, is just a request of appropriation in the amount of $54,000. That's something out of a public defender grant. This helps pay for any public, when someone gets arrested and they have an initial hearing, the attorney gets put on that initial hearing, that helps pay for that public defender.
So this offsets what we pay in county general, correct?
And that-
Oh, we don't pay public defender in that?
Well,
We not do this.
But
We
probably not
do-
for initial.
but not for community corrections. The courts have a line item in their budget.
So this is strictly for community corrections.
They would have.
And it's fully funded.
That is correct. We just received this probably less than a month ago.
Motion approved.
The initial periods are pretty small or something. That's why, that's a lower per year.
Is that your second? Is that your second, Shane? Second by Shane.
Absolutely, second.
Whatever keeps it moving. All those in favor?
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate you coming in.
Sorry,
Wow, man, we're going.
Bill.
Good evening all. So here you get appropriation or reappropriation for $38,584 for the 12-acre heritage corridor grant that we utilize for the O'Donnell Center to do some roofing work and window work out there. We were awarded that grant back in mid-24, I think. In 25, we went through the process of the paperwork, the agreements, et cetera. The roofing part was completed in late November of 25, and the windows are currently ordered. So I'm excited to get the appropriations so we can get people paid. It's a reimbursable grant, by the way.
Motion approved.
Second. Second by John. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thanks so much.
So,
Thanks for coming.
Thanks, Bill.
Good evening. I have item number 34, which is requesting appropriation for the 2025-1 Community Crossings Grant funds that we received. And this is in the amount of $1,282,410.75.
Motion, heck yes, glad to see it.
Second by Jamie, motion by Shane. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in. All right, last one is, you see the list of encumbrances, you actually also have a stack of encumbrances. Robert's up here to explain all of them.
Individual, one line at a time.
I wish they'd said that, Rob.
Already been appropriated in 25, this is going to 26. So this first one, item 35, ARPA Recreation Plan Encumbrance. This is for BLZ. This was in reference to the Small Weiss River Heritage Corridor grant that Phil was talking about for windows and masonry. It's an historical preservation grant. Part of the rules of engagement is you have to have a principal investigator or inspector for the project. It's a requirement. And so BLZ, that was their role in that project. And we would encumber those funds in 2025 for that, so.
Looks like we can approve them all at once, yeah, she does. Okay.
Going down the list, first one, CEDAT Project 4. Project Warren was an HQ project. Obviously, all the HQ projects, until they're completed and pass a certain threshold, they obviously don't get paid out. And so that's code for a Project Warren's code for a project that we really can't speak to right now. So that amount was $30,000 that we committed in 2025 that wasn't paid out. Next item on Project 4 was for Project Jim, another HQ project that we committed to but wasn't paid out because it didn't meet the threshold in 2025 for $35,000. Next item, CEDAT Project 4, BS Engineering for Huffman Drain. That was not completed in 2025 either, so we were asking to cover that, to pay that bill of $7,540. Next item, Project 6, which out of project 6, which is another HQ project, project DB. We committed $25,000 of that project in 2025 and covered it for payment in 26. Next item, project 6, the Office of Community and Rural Affairs grant. This was the owner occupied rehabilitation grant that we were the lead agency on and acquired $500,000 for rehabilitation of homes. They had to meet a certain income standard, had to be below median income to qualify for the project. I think these homeowners could qualify up to $25,000, I believe. We had at least 20, and maybe 30, depending on how far the funding goes for that. But here again, the project wasn't completed in 2025, so as our match is $60,000 there on that particular project 6. Last item in project 6, in 2025, through Duke Energy, we received a Veterans Service grant or award of $2,500. This grant is for Clinton County military relief for single veterans. The reason we're setting this money aside for single veterans is married veterans have more opportunities, more resources to pull from as opposed to single veterans. The commissioners committed $3,000 to add to the $2,500 for a total of $5,500. This grant, we will allow up to $500 for things like rent, vehicle repairs, food, emergency home repairs. You know, it's only going to take care of maybe if everybody asks for the max, would be about 11 vets that we can help. We're going to apply for it again in the future, but it's a good program. Single vets, obviously, not a single vets is very best. So that is the encumbrance of we be able to pay out in 26. Any questions?
That's right.
Thank you.
Laid out very well, thank you. We got highway encumbrance of $5,800, I see the invoices in here, right? Those, jail encumbrances, invoices up here, two corrections, encumbrances as well. Invoices on those. You guys have any questions on any of those?
We do this every year. Okay, I make the motion to approve these encumbrances.
Motion by Terry to approve all the encumbrances. Second by Shane. All those in favor?
Aye.
We're getting there. The next one is, wage and salary limits changes. We have some housekeeping, right, Jill?
Yes, yes, so, the probation officer that's paid from this budget line, 11341, out of the probation department, had one more year of experience than, we had reported, and so they have a higher rate of pay. So,
Are we gonna need to address that in the budget also at some point?
no, it was budgeted
It
correctly.
was budgeted correctly, we just didn't do it right
You're on
on the salary. Okay.
And, then they have someone serving as the temporary dispatch director of operations. And so we didn't really feel that was adequate for that, so, they'll actually have to do a transfer in the future to move that into the correct pay line, but they'll be back to that another time.
Yeah, so what we did was we promoted deputy director to basically director of dispatch until we find a permanent replacement, which he's applying for, but we didn't feel it was fair not here to do something while he's doing it. Yeah, so that's where that came from. So I'm entertaining a motion to open the salary motion.
Second.
Second by Terry, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So first amendment is the annual pay of them together or not?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay, so the two amendments, the probation officer and the director, dispatch director of operations, temporary budget lines.
Motion to approve these two items.
Terry,
Second.
second by John. All those in favor? Opposed?
I'll close it.
Thank you, Jamie. Motion by Jamie. Second by Shane. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Might have been our quickest.
Yeah.
To let Peyton know. Jamie's quick. That's Dutch Peyton did it. Okay, any, new or old business for the committee reports? So I guess we'll go through the committee reports. If you want to stay on the committee, we'll give your report to say you want to stay on that committee. If you don't, say you don't. But otherwise, I didn't hear from anybody saying they wanted to switch off of anything, so we'll close this slate unless somebody tells me otherwise. So we'll start with the community corrections, Terry.
That meeting is actually tomorrow, or Wednesday,
Wednesday.
first of the year, and yes, I would love to stay on that.
Okay. Brian's not here for solid waste, I'm assuming you want to stay on that. 3A, John, I'm assuming you want to stay on that?
Yes.
Okay.
Brian's not here, we just been on all of them.
Yeah, I like that.
Volunteer for so many things.
Hey, War Pup's not here, we can.
Yeah. Any report on 3A or?
No.
Okay.
Well,
Job class,
We're waiting on an agenda or a schedule.
Okay.
So.
Job class, anything, guys? Probably not, this early in the year. Okay. You guys want to stay on that committee?
Yes.
You guys do a great job with it, so I appreciate you guys staying on that. Lace, Shane, you've been on that for ever.
I want to stay because it's interesting.
Yeah, we approved the Lace grants tonight, so.
And just this monthly meeting was, we basically were preparing for CCP for a year we always do. And a little discussion about it, boys and girls, to get some kind of, trying to get a grant for boys and girls, so it was interesting. So other than that, pretty quiet meeting.
On city carrier?
Yeah, we had a meeting at M&S Sheet Metal, and it was informative as far as the factory goes, and you know, obviously, we're waiting on that director, so we'd like to stay on that as well.
Emergency management, Keith?
Yes, we had a meeting in January, we got new election of officers to set up this desktop
Oh, yeah.
back in March.
Yeah.
That's about it, and then a few runs.
Terry, Planning Commission?
Yeah, we had a meeting, it actually was a special meeting to approve 3 moratoriums on battery storage units, carbon sequestration, and data centers. And we gave that a favorable recommendation and sent it back to the commissioners. We'd like to stay on that. Yes, they did, they approved it today.
City advisor, Jamie?
Nothing.
Nothing. You want to stay on that? Nothing?
Sure.
They do occasionally come. That was last stuff. Every now and then. HQ, obviously as president, I'll stay on that one. Yeah, we got, as Terry mentioned, still looking for a director. Anybody knows of anybody with a passion for the community? We'd like to interview them. So we thought we had one, but one fell through, so coming back to the drawing board. ABCD, anything, Keith?
Nothing.
Okay. Tax abatement? John, anything? Probably not for a month or two.
No, nothing yet.
Okay.
Reports are due May 15th, so we'll get
We'll start
together.
seeing those, yeah. Anything on warrants?
No, I haven't seen a schedule yet for this year, so.
Health insurance, Keith, how we finishing up?
Haven't seen the
Haven't seen the
final.
final yet? Is that good or bad? You haven't seen it yet?
I'm gonna say it's a little above what we projected.
Just a little bit though? Well, that's,
Probably about 8-9%.
okay.
We've seen
We've
worse.
been doing really well
Yes,
for a long time,
yes.
so, yeah.
We've seen worse.
Anything on EMS?
I had to phone in because of work, but at 12th, we had a meeting. New board member Eric Eller was there. Just kind of covered their normal stuff with runs and ETAs and things of that time of level, how they average. They're 801 runs over this time from last year.
Oh, wow.
So the adding of trucks has been huge. But their response time is still under state average, national average, so everything seems to be good there. They seem very organized and I can appreciate that for sure. So they're still waiting on new chassis for the vehicles that they have ordered, so. Yeah, and they're going to move meetings to twice a year versus quarterly.
Okay.
Because they just felt like we're going over the same thing every.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it was graded.
Yeah.
That committee was graded, so early on, I think it was really good to meet more often.
Sure. And they kind of based that on the fact that almost all their other counties were going to every 180 days versus 90 days, so.
Good deal. Combined dispatch, I just mentioned, still looking for a director there, too, so you know if anybody.
Really? Yeah.
I'm still trying to get it, I can't find a director. So, but yeah, so still looking up, Tony stepped up, we appreciate him helping us out, for sure. Other than that, everything pretty smooth there. Internal controls, anything, Jill?
I'm finishing my AFR, which is due on Friday. Soon after that, I'll probably get a phone call from the state. That they'll be in to give us an audit.
Good times. Yeah. Redevelopment, anything, Terry and John?
No meeting, no much in on it.
Good, we'll stay on that, and then. I'm sure it's down now. All right, I'll continue motion to adjourn. Motion, second by Keith, all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Is that